It's sunshiny and it is hot out here. It's supposed to be like 101. So I moderate the music and sound forum for GameDev.net. Been doing it for about 8 years now, and I had a really good question thrown my way just this past week about how do you go from being a hobby composer into a in-house composer. Actually, I should make note, they didn't specify in-house. They just said how do you go from being a hobby composer into being a working composer. There's a lot here. First off, for me, first thing you need to think about is how do you make your brand known? How do you make your music known? Because that's the only way clients or employers are going to even consider you as an option, is if they know about you. There's all kinds of ways to get yourself out there. You can make YouTube channels, demos, you can do SoundCloud, but really it's all about taking part in the industry. Being part of discussion groups online with forums like GameDev and others. I think going to conferences, taking part in Facebook groups. I mean, there's more opportunities to get yourself out there and be interacting with people doing the type of work you want to do. There's more opportunities now than there ever have been for that. So seize those. The other thing is have a good skill set. Have a skill set that's marketable. So if your demo reel is basically one genre in music, one style, then you're cutting out a lot of other potential clients. I'm not saying that you become a jack of all trades, master of none. There are certain style of music I cannot do. I do not consider myself very great at dubstep. I don't enjoy it. It's not my wheelhouse. I can fake it, but man, if I have a client say I want you to do some dubstep music, I'm probably going to point them to one of my friends who's really good at that and very passionate about it. Same thing with country music, same thing with rap. I'm just not that great. I can fake it, but well, maybe not rap. I probably can't fake rap, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'll pass those gigs on to someone else who I felt like was a better fit. Meet people, get to know people who have different skills than you do. Perfect recent example for me, Spartan Fist. I worked on this soundtrack, this is part of my freelance work. Glass Bottom Games, Megan Fox and I have been working together for years, a really good friend of mine, and I needed a guitar player because I can play like 4 chords on the guitar, and that's it. So I'm not a great guitarist. Also, this soundtrack needed it to be chiptune punk. So what I did was I reached out to a good buddy of mine who plays guitar. He handled the guitar parts for me. He even helped me figure out some of the stuff, some of the fingerprint behind punk music, and I mixed those in with chiptune, and he recorded all the guitars. Worked out great. So get to know, network, meet people that don't have the same skill set you do. I'm a strong advocate of we're not competing against each other. There's a notion, and this is found sometimes by younger people, and in fact, the more that you help propel and prop up people around you, the more that you help saying, hey, I can tag you in this project because you're going to be a great fit for that, much better than me. Maybe you take a finder's fee for that. Maybe you work something out, but you do so graciously, you do so willingly and freely. First off, that person you helped hook up with the project is going to remember you. They're going to remember how you helped them out, and they're going to be eager to repay that favor. Secondly, that client that reached out to you, they're not going to write you off because it's a really cool thing to say, hey, listen, I'm not the best fit for this. I want the best for your product. So instead of just trying to get your money and do a halfway decent job on this music, I'm going to refer you to the best person I can think of to fill your need. That client's going to remember you for doing that. So it's a win-win across the board. And yeah, you might miss out on that gig, but I guarantee you, in the long run, you'll probably end up getting more work because of having a gracious and open attitude towards saying, what's the best for the product? That's the biggest thing. We're trying to meet, support a product, a brand. It's not about us. It's not about our egos. It's about what's best for the brand. The other thing is look at how you're marketing yourself. How are you branding yourself? And this is a very fast, breakneck speed type of thing where you can't say, here's my formula, and then 20 years later, use the same formula. You can't even do that within a couple years. Things are always evolving. Things are always changing. And that's hard. That's rough. So you have to be flexible and be nimble and look at things. And sometimes you can just reach out to people and say, hey, how are you marketing yourself right now? There are services out there, there are people out there that will review your marketing, your demo reel, the whole online persona that you're putting out there, and they'll give you feedback on how you can make that better. I'd recommend utilizing those. The other thing you can always do is just look up people that you respect, look up people who have careers that you want to emulate, and take note. How are they doing things? What are they doing? What are they not doing? And see how you can incorporate some of those into your own online presence. Another thing that you really should focus on is keeping your materials up to date. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a buddy of mine that wanted to go for a job at a company I was working for. This was pretty early on in my career. This was not a sound job he was going for, but a different type of job related to video. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, they are going to be hiring. Do you want to apply? And he was very excited and he wanted to put something out there. The unfortunate thing in his situation was his demo reel was drastically out of date. I mean, just dreadfully out of date. What you don't want to do is have to spend all night cramming and putting everything together and having tech issues, having lack of sleep, and being anxious about it, and then perhaps you're not putting forth the best demo reel you can. The other thing I would do is just take part in various online communities, Facebook and other specific websites where, let's say it's game dev, it's indie gamer, there's all kinds of websites out there where you can just start to get yourself put out there. If you're starting out in your career, it might be hard to find paying clients at first, but my advice is do not work for free. If you can avoid it, don't work for free, because it's just basically going to make you be the free guy. You might hear this from devs, oh well, next time I'll pay you. What I've seen happen is once that dev gets a budget where they can pay for a sound guy, they're not going to go for you. You're the free guy. They're going to go for someone who charges for their work, because whether you realize it or not, when you put a monetary value, even a cheaper monetary value on your work, it says to that client and to yourself, I believe in myself, I believe in my work, I believe it's worth X. Even if you're doing a discount rate, even if you're giving them a special rate, you're putting some value to it. When you work for free, you're saying my time and my energy and my craft are not worth anything. Because I'm sorry, industry credit as compensation is not compensation. This is an important part. You have to look at your credits. If you have someone come up to you and say, hey, I will give you industry credit if you write all the music for my game for free, so you can put it on your resume, you can put it in your portfolio, how valuable is that industry credit if 7 people know about that game? Now, if it's one of those rare gems where you work for free and the game gets 100,000 downloads and has your name in the credits, that might be worth something, but that's a risk. Usually with risk, the higher the risk you take on, the more you should be paid on the back end. I would really be smart and be choosy, be picky, be aggressive about making sure the deals that you agree to early on, frankly the deals you agree to at any point, are ones that are really going to serve you the best. If you want to make a business out of this, if you want to be seen as professional, you have to act professional, you have to be professional. And if you want to stay in business, you have to make the math work. You can't keep taking on free projects and getting zero money and expect to be doing this for full-time work. Now, you might be able to do it on the side, indefinitely, but that's always going to be on the side. And this whole blog, this whole question was about how I turn this into my job. Be picky about what you take on. Be picky about the situations and try and make the best bets where you're going to end up making some money so you can pay your bills and so you can sustain yourself and sustain this career. Another thing is to diversify. I kind of hit on this earlier about if your demo reel is just one genre, then you're going to only get one type of client usually. If you can do multiple things, then you can probably increase the odds that you're going to be able to get more work. For example, I teach piano lessons, I teach saxophone lessons. I also have recorded live orchestras and then delivered those stems to the orchestra. For example, when I lived in Denver, Colorado, I, for multiple seasons, was the sound recordist for their live concert series for the Aurora Symphony Orchestra. Then I also can record saxophone and I can record piano. So I would do that. Then I can do sound design, then I can do music, I can do several genres of music. I can do orchestral, I can do jazz, I can do some rock, I can do chiptune, I can do arcadey type stuff, hybrid. I can also implement audio. I can implement in Fmod, I can implement on Nintendo 3DS. I can also implement in Unity and Master Audio, which is a Unity tool. I can mix, I can master. So instead of me saying I'm an orchestral composer, that's it. I have several different veins. I can go through and I can try and make money by doing these different activities. You're going to make it easier on yourself if you have more ways of making money versus just saying this is my one shot. So look for ways that you can diversify. But really, the biggest thing is it's about the slow burn. It's about putting yourself out there and having the patience and the endurance to say, I may not get work at this for a while, but I want to make this happen. I'm willing to put in the time. In some cases, it might be months. In some cases, it might be years. I started trying to do game audio professionally for about a year before I got my first in-house job. Now, this is another good point. Try and set up a situation where you can work and have your bills be paid by something else other than game audio. That way, you can be picky about what you take, you can be picky about what you accept to do, and also that stress of, oh my God, I have to find a client, oh my God, I have to find a project. That type of stress is not going to be sitting around and impacting your mood and your creativity, your inspiration. Because believe me, stress is the #1 creative killer. It's just going to take your inspiration and kill it. Dead. So you want to avoid that. So if you have a situation, even if that means spending less time a week doing music and sound design, get a part-time job. Get something where you can pay those bills, and then on your off time, you can say, all right, now this is just for me, and this is something I'm building, and you can really be picky about how you want to build your brand. What type of games you want to work on, who you want to affiliate yourself with, all that type of stuff. If you've been doing things for a little while and you want to expand your exposure, consider doing a vlog. That's what I'm doing right now. Put a vlog out, start writing articles. But a really important thing about both of those is make sure you know what you're talking about before you put stuff out. I've run across some situations where someone would be advocating certain types of advice, and as someone else who has been doing that for 13 years, I'm like, I don't know if this is the best advice. So I'd really caution you, only put stuff out that you really know what you're talking about if you're going to go that route. And in many cases, the earlier in your career, that might be harder to do. So perhaps what you do instead is you make a vlog about interviewing other people you really respect so you can learn from them. All of a sudden you become a resource for other people to look at, and then people start noticing, hey, you've interviewed 20 people. I like all these people. They've done amazing games, and you're learning and you're putting yourself out there, and you're a composer too? Wow, that's cool. That type of thing. It's the Super Mercado Brothers. I might be butchering that actual name. I know that's the name of the album at least. And they have the Super Mario Brothers cover. It's super cute. I mean, it's one of those things where I push play on Bandcamp and I immediately started smiling because it's just, they nailed the aesthetic. And that was really smart. It's two guys that made this album, they put it out, and it's just this aesthetic it makes you feel like you're playing Super Mario Brothers without being copyrighted material. Really smart. But they're also composers, game composers. So that's another way you can put yourself out there and do some cover albums, do some tribute albums. Put yourself out there that way. There are all kinds of ways. One thing I started doing was mentoring people. If you're young or if you're new to this career and you want to learn, consider taking some mentoring. Consider taking some private lessons with people. It's a great way to become known. The final point, I hope I've answered this question, but really it's a lot of just time. Putting in the effort. I hope these answers, I hope these tips give you some ideas, but really it's just sit down, figure out a kind of path that you want to go, and then start chipping away at that path every single day. I don't know if I came up with this by myself, if I learned it from someone else, but early on in my career, I came up with this mantra: every single day, do something towards my dream job. Every single day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes here, an hour there, 10 minutes over here. It was just like, do something every single day to make my dream a reality. If you can do that, you'll be really surprised at the end of a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. You'll be shocked at how far you can go. My old band director in high school had this cheesy joke. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But it makes sense, it applies to this. Sometimes getting into game audio can feel like this mountain you have to climb, but the best way to approach it is step by step. Just like the TGIF Patrick Duffy TV show. Step by step, day by day. All right, enough of that. If you like what I'm doing, if you like these videos, if you like these vlogs, please subscribe, leave comments, leave kudos. Vast sums of money are also accepted. Hit the bell if you want to be notified about future videos. And soon, if I keep getting more interest in these videos, I might be starting a Patreon. I don't know yet. Right now, I'm mainly just trying to make content, see what the reaction is to it. All right, it's hot. I need to get some water. Hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Bye. For example, if you have people out on the lake, do everything. I'm not saying be a master. What's that saying? Okay, kind of rambling here, but I'm gonna make this one long video that I'm gonna trim down into an experience. Boy, it's really hot out here. Texas in August. Woo doggy. So, I'm finding paying clients at first. There's an airplane. Or it's Superman. Let's start this again. Another thing is to what else? Whew, it's hot, hot, hot. What else can we talk about? Another story time with Nathan.